Hi everybody, today we're talking about a module in Python which is called Statsmodels. And this module contains methods to fit statistical models like time series models, like cross-sectional regression models, and much more. And this Statsmodels library has three elements or three parts. And one is the Statsmodels Api, another is the Statsmodels.tsa.api, and the third is Statsmodels.formula Api. And we are going to talk about each one of these in this video. And if you want more documentation on what you can do with Statsmodels, you should go here to statsmodels.org. And here you can find a lot of user guides and examples, and you can also find the different methods you can have access to if you import this library. So if we talk about statsmodels.api, then this is the part of the library which you have to import if you want to run cross-sectional regressions, for example. And to define the model in this setting, you have to define a data frame for the y variable and a separate data frame for the x variables. And when you have done this, you can use the methods in this statsmodels.api to fit the data defined by these data frames. So these data frames, they define the variables in the model. And to import statsmodels.api, you should just write import statsmodels.api as sm, which means that you just type sm dot and the method that you want to use from the Statsmodels library. And you can check out the different models which is available for you in the statsmodels.api. It's the ordinary OLS, it's the weighted OLS, general least squares, and so on. So you have a lot of imputation methods here, estimating equations, linear models, and discrete count models, for example. You also have multivariate models and some other more specific models. You also have some help functions to help with plotting of QQ plots, for example, which are quite useful. You also have a description method, and you have different other tools. And in the statsmodels.tsa.api, then you have time series analysis, TSA. So this part, you would use this part if you have time series data and would like to fit time series models to this data. And it's the same here, that you have to specify the y variable and the x variables separately. And to import this model, or this part of statsmodels, you have to just write import statsmodels.tsa.api as TSA. Then you just write TSA dot and the function which you are going to use from the statsmodels.tsa.api. And the different methods and models contained in this part of the Statsmodels library is, for example, different statistics and tests which you run before you fit a time series model. And you have also univariate time series analysis like ARIMA, and you have smoothing, you have multivariate time series models like VAR models, vector autoregressive models, and you have different filters to smooth the time series, and you have Markov regime switching models, and you have methods for forecasting. And of course you have different time series tools. And the last part of this Statsmodels library would be the Statsmodels.Formula Api. If you are coming from, for example, R, and you are used to specifying models within equations like this, y is equal to x1 plus x2, for example, and then you would actually put the data in a separate data frame with both the y and the x variables, and you could just define the model and fit the model to this this data, and then you can import the Statsmodels.Formula Api as SMF, and then you would just type SMF dot and the function which you would like to use from Statsmodels.Formula.Api. And if you would like to read more about this way of specifying models and then fitting this model to the data in the data frame, then you could just look here at the part, the API reference, the Statsmodels Formula.Api, and then you would see the different methods here. And the first method you would probably use is the OLS, for example. So this is just a quick overview of what you can expect from the Statsmodels library, and we are going to look at the first part of the Statsmodels library, the Statsmodels.Api, in our next video.